The second sun was rising above the boundless desert plateau. Its light was coppery, as if tinted by dust made from the crushed bones of prehistoric creatures that once roamed this world. The first rays wrapped the broken rocks jutting from the sand like fangs and cast long shadows on the ground, resembling the spines of dead giants. There, among the drifting waves of dust gliding slowly over the cracked, scorched earth, a figure moved. Tall and wrapped in layers of cloth that shielded the body from the merciless sun, it stepped carefully but with certainty. On its back, a worn-out backpack. At its waist, an old compass, its needle trembling from electromagnetic storms but still holding true. Around it reigned a dead silence. No birds sang, no wind blew, only the soft crunch of sand underfoot, like the whisper of a sleeping planet. Once this had been a green plateau, covered in forests through which crystal rivers flowed. Once children had laughed here and the skies rang with birdsong. But after the great evaporation, all that remained of water was a faint aftertaste in the air. The figure stopped near a massive metal fragment protruding from the earth like a shard of a fallen starship. Its surface was scarred with rust and worn-out markings. Once, this was an observation station. The remains of solar panels still pointed skyward, like the eyes of dead gods. The figure looked toward the horizon. There, where the two suns met, an amber pillar of dust was rising. A storm was coming. Not just a dust storm, but one that carried shards of metal, memories, death, and disappearance. It would need to be endured. Not far away at the base of a cliff was an opening in the rock. The figure moved toward it, finding stone steps leading downward, a shelter left by previous explorers. Inside, an old power system was activated. A tiny inertial generator hummed, and cold light filled the narrow corridor. There were still signs of life within. Bottles marked with strange symbols, charred photographs encased in a metal frame, human faces, smiling, alive. The figure looked long at one in particular. The eyes of the child in the photo seemed almost alive, not a memory, but a frozen gaze across the years. Beyond the wall, the storm roared. Sand struck stone as if trying to erase the shelter from existence. But the figure sat still, listening to the sounds like music. The storm held no fear. It was a part of her as she was a part of this land. The next day, the winds calmed. Leaving the shelter, she set off again, across the cracks of the earth's crust, across endless fields of glass and ash. Overhead flew old drones, shadows of their former selves, now wandering without purpose, guided by ghosts of obsolete programs. One hovered for a moment, as if it recognized her, then vanished into the shimmering haze. Ahead loomed a dome, remnants of the central energy hub. Once, the heart of the planetary network had pulsed here, connecting continents. Now it lay in ruins, only the main antenna still reaching for the sky. She approached the control panel. Her fingers found familiar buttons. Symbols lit up on the monitor, the hesitant glow of a long-abandoned system, but something still functioned. Deep within the network, a blinking dot remained, a signal that had survived, calling. The traveler entered coordinates and resumed her journey. Her path led through an abandoned transport tunnel, littered with debris. On the walls, graffiti speaking of uprisings, of the end of humankind, of the last ones who waited for salvation. No one came, but memory remained. There beneath the earth she found a dome, an old cryogenic capsule still intact. Inside lay a body. A woman, alive, perfectly preserved. The screen showed a faint pulse. She stood over her for a long time, as if staring into her own reflection. Then she gently activated the warming sequence. The system came to life, humming and releasing icy vapor. As the woman's eyes slowly opened, the traveler was already sitting nearby, watching. And then, for the first time in many years, something new was born in the air. Hope. In the distance, another storm was rising. But this time, its light was not only amber, it was soft, as though from it morning was beginning to grow.